morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm not talking to you dogs, but if you want to come and say hi, you can. Welcome. So today, if you have blocks or a towel or a strap especially, that would be probably useful. We'll do a little bit with some arm stretches and potentially a lot of hips too. So when you're ready, you can find yourself into a comfortable seated position, whether that's crisscross applesauce or an easy pose, or maybe a modified hero pose, which is on your knees with the feet a little bit apart. Normally at the beginning of practice, if you want to lift yourself up onto a rolled blanket or a block, takes a little bit of pressure off of the knees and the hips for the early morning practice. So once you arrive here, you can let the eyes close, let the hands just fall wherever they might be, and then perhaps just notice the positioning of the hands and how you place them. Whether the palms are stacked facing up. Hey, lay down. Whether the palms are facing up or whether you chose to let them rest facing down. There's not really a right way or a wrong way, but just know that it's generally a good indicator of your energetic state. So if you put your palms facing down, then you might be feeling a little overwhelmed. If you're looking, or if you place them facing up, then perhaps you're looking for a little bit of an energy boost. Regardless of where you are, beginning to focus on your breath. Long inhales in, and even longer, fuller exhales out. Today being August 22nd actually marks the beginning of a festival, a Hindu festival, focused on one of the Hindu gods of Ganesh. And Ganesh, even if you aren't familiar with any of the Hindu gods, which are often connected to the yoga practice, Ganesh is a man-like figure with an elephant-like head. And in terms of symbolism, Ganesh is often referred to as the remover of obstacles. So it's a god or a idol, I guess you would say, that some people look to in order to kind of let go of something that is preventing them from moving forward. And so as you breathe in today's practice, just beginning your practice with those inhales and those exhales, perhaps reflecting on an obstacle in your life. Setting your intention to perhaps let some of the tension associated with that obstacle go, to create a little bit of space so that you can move forward. Henry Ford had a quote that said that obstacles are those frightful things that you see when you take your eyes off your goal. So related to any goal that you might have, if you kind of ponder and think too much about the process of achieving that goal, chances are fear will arise, obstacles will arise, those frightful things that will deter you from moving forward. Not that they aren't things that you shouldn't think about, right? It's good to be mindful of all of the things that you need to do to be able to move forward, but rather not letting those obstacles stop you in your tracks. Taking a couple more breaths. Beginning to envision and even feel the spine growing longer as the sits bones grow deeper. Let the shoulders relax down a little bit more with the exhales. Take another full breath in and a long breath out. From here, Either keeping the eyes open or closed, the spine stays long, let the chin tuck down towards the chest. Take one round of breath here, breathing into the back side of the lungs, even the back side of the neck. As you inhale, sliding your chin up towards one of your shoulders, doesn't really matter which one. As you exhale, coming back to center. Inhale to the opposite shoulder. Exhale back to center. One more time, each side, your breath guides the movement. Maybe adding your Ujjayi breath, the constriction in the back of your throat so you can hear those inhales and exhales. And then finding your way back to center. From here, beginning to rock the body weight forward, finding yourself to a tabletop position, removing blocks, placing those blocks at the top of your mat if they're not already there. Once you have yourself in your tabletop position, those hands under the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, driving the hands towards the knees without moving the spine quite yet. Envision the crown of the head reaching more towards the top of your mat, pressing a little bit more into the shoelace parts of the feet. So from the outside, the body isn't moving, but from the inside, with all of the muscles activating, you should actually almost at some point feel a vibration, right? The muscles are working. Take a full breath in, long breath out. Adding some movement of the spine, let the belly drop, let the tailbone lift, let the gaze slightly lift. As you exhale, curl the spine, upper spine, middle spine, lower spine. 2 more times. Breathing in, just letting the spine move here, even if you have variations on your tabletop. And exhale, press the mat away. 1 more time. Breathing in, let the belly drop. And breathing out, the spine curls. From here, finding yourself to a neutral spine, a little bend into the elbows, keep the spine still long, and from here, then let the belly drop, the gaze will lift, the tailbone will lift. As you exhale, rock forward, curl the spine, and then sink the hips slightly back towards the heels. 2 more times. Belly drops, elbows bend, gaze lifts. Rock forward, curl the spine, and rock back. Exhale. Final time. Breathing in and breathing out. From here, finding yourself back to your neutral spine. Really grounding into the shin on the left side as you extend the right leg out behind you with the toes flexing down. Take a full breath in, long breath out. Shift to the right hand slightly, let the right hip drop slightly, but keep the hips square as you lift the right leg a little bit higher. Take a full breath in, long breath out. 2 more rounds of breath. Full inhale in, long exhale. Final inhale, that leg is active, it's flexed, and a full breath out. From here, finding a bend into that right knee, and maybe reaching back with the left hand, finding yourself into a quad stretch. The right toes stay flexed, the gaze stays down, kicking the foot into the hand, taking 3 rounds of breath. Long spine, hips may be still square, depends on the shoulder flexibility. Another full breath in. And as you breathe out, a release of that right leg, and find the left palm back to the floor. Let the right leg come down to the mat, finding the ball of the foot, press into the hands, lengthen that right calf. A full breath in, and a long breath out. Finding ourselves into a modified side plank here, shoulders over the wrists, bringing that left heel towards the side of your mat, reposition the left hand, drop the right heel, and open that right arm towards the sky. Take a full breath in, and a long breath out. Maybe take a look down, see that that right foot is in line with the left knee, press into the outer edge of that right foot, full breath in, long breath out. Let the gaze become neutral, but the spine stays long. Maybe an extension or a lift of that right leg up, toes stay flexed. Full breath in, long breath out. Maybe again, a bend into that right knee, reaching for that right ankle, pressing that right hip a little bit towards the side, full breath in, long breath out. One more inhale, and as you exhale, an extension of that right leg, and finding yourself back to your tabletop position. Let the belly drop, the elbows bend, the gaze and the tail lift, and curl the spine. Sink back slightly into your cat pose. From here, finding yourself to that neutral spine, readjusting the hands if you need to, pressing into the right shin. An extension of the left leg out behind you, the toes flex down. Shifting a little bit to the left hand, let the left hip drop, then lift the left leg higher. Belly button hugs up, full breath in, long breath out. 2 more rounds of breath. Another full breath in, long breath out. From here, bend into that left knee, reaching back with the right hand, keeping the foot flexed, keeping the hips square, keeping the gaze down, breathing for 3, for 2, another full breath in, and a breath out. A release of that left leg long, right hand returns to the mat, leg is still lifted, hips are still square, full breath in, ball of that left foot down to the mat, press into the hands, calf stretch, breathing in, and exhale. Body weight comes over, shoulders to the wrists, right heel pivots out, left heel drops, and reaching up to that modified side plank. Really using the grounding of that right hand, pressing into the outer edge of that left foot, a full breath in, and a long breath out. One more inhale, and exhale. Your gaze becomes neutral, yet try to keep the head in line with the spine, and then a lift of that left leg. The toes stay flexed, breathing for 3, for 2, another full breath in, and then perhaps adding the bend into that left knee, reaching back for the ankle, foot stays flexed, hips are attempting to open, another full breath in, and an extension of that left leg, arm to the sky, and returning back to your tabletop position. Final belly drop, and spine curl, and sink back with those knees wide, hips towards the heels, child's pose. Let the forehead rest down to the mat. Let the arms really lengthen long in front. Spread the fingers wide, maybe even tent the fingertips. Take a full breath in, long breath out. Know that by finding this compression pose in the hips, finding length into the spine and into the shoulders, you're creating space. The compression is squeezing out toxins, focusing on us letting go. Any obstacles, any experiences often are held in the hips. When you're ready, shifting yourself up to an extended table, the hands are beyond the shoulders, knees come back underneath the hips, tuck the toes, down dog. The gaze goes to the back toes, begin pedaling out the feet, feeling a release here again into the calves, but keeping the knees bent. We'll take it away from the hamstrings, which might not be warm, and really allow us to focus on the spine and the back and the length in that upper body, which is what down dog is all about. A full breath in and a long breath out. Finding stillness as you inhale, staying for the exhale, rolling forward to plank pose as you breathe in, and lifting the hips, pressing the mat away, down dog as you breathe out. 2 more times, long inhale in, Trying not to let the movement necessarily stop, but let it follow the breath. One more time, coming forward and coming back. Tippy toes as you inhale, bend the knees, look forward, step your way to ragdoll pose. You'll widen the feet hips width, you'll bend the knees, and you'll hang heavy from the top of the body down. The hands can be lazy, reverse positionings of down dog, or bind if it's in your practice. 2 rounds of breath. 1 more inhale. And exhale. The hands come back to the ground, walk the toes together, fingertips to the shins. Lift the spine as you breathe in, shoulders to the back of your mat. Forward fold as you breathe out. 1 more time. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Micro bend in the knees, reverse swan dive those arms to the sky, look up. As you exhale through heart center, bend the knees and fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Bend the knees, plant the palms, left leg step back to a low lunge as you exhale. Tent the fingertips to frame the foot or use blocks. Think long spine, energy driving out the left heel as the heart comes forward. A full breath in and a long breath out. Either keeping tented fingertips or those hands on blocks. Full breath in. Press into the blocks, lengthen that front leg, exhale. Using your breath, breathe in, come forward, hips sink, heart lifts. Press the blocks away, lengthen that front leg, breathe out. 1 more time, come forward and press back. Coming forward as you breathe in, let the knee come down to the mat behind you, shoelace part of the foot. Find interlaced fingers to the right thigh, just to gain stability and to activate those legs. Press the right heel down and back, left shin down and forward. When you're ready, Anjaneyasana, arms to the sky as you breathe in. Bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, release the trigger finger. Shoulders engaged into the sockets, take a full breath in. Trying to keep the front knee over the ankle, let the hips sink, let the belly button hug in. A full breath in, long breath out. Begin to lift the sternum and the gaze to the sky, keeping the biceps along the ears, breathing for 3, 4, 2, 1 more breath in, and out. Move through center as you breathe in, bring the hands down to frame the foot, remove the blocks as you exhale. Lift the back knee, step the right leg back to meet the left, plank pose. Knees down or lifted, rock forward if they're lifted with your inhale, lower all the way down to your mat, keeping those elbows close as you exhale. Baby cobra, press into the feet, lift the heart, keep the gaze down, exhale to the mat. 1 more time, breathe in, and exhale. Press yourself up to a tabletop position, and down dog, breathing out. A full breath in, and a long breath out. 1 more inhale, Walter, and exhale. Tippy toes as you breathe in, bend the knees, look forward, step or float to the front of your mat. Toes come right together, halfway lift, breathe in, full exhale. Reverse swan dive those arms to the sky, open the heart at the top. As you exhale, bend the knees through heart center, forward fold. Halfway lift, breathe in, and the right leg steps back to your lunge. Tent the fingertips, scooch the right knee back, but keep it lifted, the heart lifted, energy driving out the right heel. Walter, no. Full breath in, long breath out. Another full inhale, and a long exhale. Final breath, and as you breathe out, letting your hands either find the blocks or stay tented. Full inhale in, press into the blocks, lengthen the left leg as you breathe out. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, come back. One more time, forward and back. As you come forward, breathe in, and the right knee comes down to the mat, shoelace part of the foot as you breathe out. Hands to the thigh as you inhale, and activate those legs, driving the left heel back, right shin forward as you exhale. Take a full breath in. Try to let the hips sink, even though that knee stays over the front ankle. Arms to the sky as you breathe in. Find an awkward interlace of the fingers, releasing the trigger finger. Biceps along the ears, full inhale. Maybe sinking even more as you exhale. Hug the belly button in, keep the core activated. Lift the heart and the gaze. Breathing for 3, 4, 2. One more inhale. And exhale. Move through center as you breathe in. The hands come down to frame the foot. Blocks removed, exhale. Lift the back knee, step the left leg back, knees down or up. On your next breath in, rock forward. As you breathe out, maybe lower halfway or all the way. Baby cobra, full cobra, or up dog. Shoulders relax down, hips relax. Downward facing dog. Exhale. A full breath in. Let the mouth open and breathe out. One more time, full inhale in. And a long exhale out. Normal Ujjayi breath in and out of the nose. From here, walk your hands back to your feet and guide the toes to touch when you arrive. Halfway lift, breathe in. Fold, exhale. Chair pose, hips sink, knees together, thighs together, arms to the sky. A full breath in. And a long exhale. Sink deeper, spine long, hands can come to prayer. Thumbs press into the sternum. Elbows are at a 90-degree angle to the fingers. Take another 2 rounds of breath. Lift the toes, full breath in. Long breath out. Final inhale. Forward fold, breathe out. Halfway lift as you inhale, and as you exhale, walk those hands out to your plank pose. The toes are closer together, rock forward as you inhale, halfway or all the way, exhale. Full breath in, shine the heart, press the mat away, roll over the toes, down dog. Full inhale in, long exhale out. The right leg extends to the sky as you inhale, and as you breathe out, low lunge, foot between the hands, knee over the ankle. Take that towel or strap with you. As you step the back foot in, drop the heel, and rise up to warrior 1. A full breath in. Try to sink a little bit more into that right knee, keeping it over the ankle, never more, maybe less. If you find you can widen the stance, then you can always find that variation. Just try to keep those hips facing the front of your mat. The towel or strap is in your left hand as we find cow face arms. Hey! Sorry, I have a dog scratching something. Come here, Walter. Bend into that right elbow. Let the elbow drop, or the hand drop rather, between the shoulder blades. Reach the right arm back and around. Spin the palm to the back of your mat. Find the towel or your fingers. If you found the fingers, pull down. If you found the towel, pull down rather than reaching further. And keep that left tricep elbow towards the head. Press the left shoulder forward. Keep the back heel grounded. Breathe in and breathe out. Hug the belly button in a little bit more. You should feel the hip flexor stretch deepen. Another full breath in and a long breath out. Release your cow face arms, arms to the sky as you inhale, and keeping the towel or strap open up to warrior 2. Find a little bit of a deeper bend into that right knee As you widen the stance for your warrior, arms are strong. Take the towel into the left hand. If it's not already there, a full breath in and a long breath out. Reverse the warrior, reach up and back as you inhale. And side angle pose, hinging forward, right forearm to the thigh, and then the left arm to the sky. Gaze could follow that left hand if you wish, or bring the gaze neutral, drop the left arm behind with that towel. Once it's behind the back, take the right arm to the inside of the right leg, and then bring it underneath the right thigh, find that towel. Pull down to spin up. Holding here for 4, for 3, for 2, another full breath in, and out. Release the bind, left arm back to the sky as you inhale, and as you exhale, bring the left hand down. Keep the back foot as if it's warrior 2. As you shift the torso so it's a little bit more over the right thigh. Again, you might find your hands to blocks here as you drive the right heel down and back, and the outside of that left foot is pressing into the mat as you're also trying to drive the left hip forward. A little bit of an awkward feeling here since we don't always linger in this position. Just envision long spine, breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale and exhale. From here, begin to walk the blocks to the inside of that left foot, then all the way to the center of your mat, taking your right toes with you. Hands on blocks, press into the blocks to lengthen the spine. And as you breathe out, fold over. Let the upper body relax. Your hands could stay on the blocks, or you can let them off the blocks towards the floor. Wherever you are, shift the body weight slightly forward. Take a full breath in, and a long breath out. One more inhale, and exhale. Pressing up onto the blocks, taking your towel and placing it to the back of your mat or strap, and then walking those blocks and your toes to the front, actually to the back of your mat now. So moving the blocks, or actually keeping your hands on blocks for a second, and then when you're ready, stepping the right foot forward to meet the left. Forward fold, blocks removed. Halfway lift as you breathe in, fold as you breathe out. Bend the knees, sink the hips, reach the arms up to the sky for your chair pose. Sink a little bit deeper, let the belly button pull up, hands to prayer, full breath in, long breath out. Another full inhale, and exhale. Final breath in, forward fold, breathing out. Halfway lift, inhale. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step or shoot. Back to bent elbows or ride the exhale down. Shine your heart, cobra, baby cobra, or up dog. And downward facing dog. Full breath in, long breath out. One more inhale, and exhale. The toes come together behind you. Left leg extends to the sky as you breathe in, and low lunge. Foot between the hands, knee over the ankle as you breathe out. Take a full inhale in, and a long exhale. Step the back foot in to drop the back heel. Take your towel with you as you rise on up to your Virabhadrasana 1 on the other side. You're here for 2 or 3 rounds of breath, settling in, maybe widening the stance, hugging the belly in, shoulders relaxing. Towel or strap in the right hand, full breath in, long breath out. A bend into that right elbow, drops the towel between the shoulder blades, left arm spins around, find the bind. Pull down as you press the right shoulder forward and hug the belly button in more. Keeping the legs active, the arms active, Everything active but the facial muscles. Full breath in. Long exhale. 2 more rounds of breath. Another full inhale. And an exhale. Releasing those arms, bringing them to the sky as you breathe in. And as you exhale, towel in the right hand as you open up to your warrior 2. Bending deep into the front knee, centralizing the torso, arms are strong. 2 rounds of breath. Another full breath in and out. Reverse the warrior as you breathe in and side angle pose, reaching that torso forward, right arm to the sky. Take a full breath in, pressing the left hip more open, right hip more back, gaze comes to neutral. From here, keeping that left arm hanging, drop the right arm behind your back, reach underneath that left thigh to find the towel. Pull down, but spin up, gaze returning to the sky. Holding for 4, for 3, for 2, final breath in and out. Gaze neutral, bind releases, right arm to the sky. And as you exhale, bringing those hands down, finding the blocks. As you keep the lower body the same, and a gradual shift of that left heel down and back, outer right part of your foot pressing into the mat. Breathing for 3, for 2, 1 more breath in. Using the blocks to walk yourself to the inside of that left foot, taking your strap with you. As you walk yourself to a wide leg forward fold, adjust the toes so they face the blocks, press into the blocks, lengthen the spine, and forward fold. Arms on or off the blocks. Shift the body weight slightly forward, full breath in, long breath out. Maybe smile when you're upside down. It feels kind of funny. A full inhale, long exhale. Pressing into the blocks, walking the blocks with your towel or strap back to the front part of your mat. Take a full inhale in. And as you breathe out, hands stay on the blocks as you step the right leg back to a high plank. A full breath in, long breath out. 1 more inhale. Press into the blocks, ground the heels, downward facing dog. Now you might want to adjust the blocks to the lowest level and then bring the heels of the hands to the end of the block that's closest to your feet. As you use that slight lift in the blocks to maybe find a little bit more length in the legs while maintaining the length in the spine. Biceps still along the ears. Envision someone pulling your hips higher, yet at the same time holding your heels more towards the mat. Breathing for 3, for 2, 1 more inhale, and exhale. Tippy toes as you breathe in, bend the knees, look forward, and walk your way to the front of your mat. Once you arrive here, bring the blocks out in front, fingertips to the shins, halfway lift, breathe in, fold, breathe out. Micro bend in the knees, reach the arms to the side, all the way up to the sky, open the heart. As you exhale, bring your hands to prayer. Take a full breath in, and a long breath out. Step the left foot up onto an imaginary stool, keeping the foot flexed, keeping the knee in line with the left hip, the left ankle directly under the knee. Take a full breath in. Try to lengthen the left leg long. Inhale, bend the knee. exhale, lengthen the leg. One more time, bend. And exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend. Bend into the standing leg. Kick that left leg back to a temporary warrior three. Blocks are always there if you need them. A full breath in. And a bend deeper into the standing leg as you find crescent lunge. Hands are still in prayer. Give yourself a couple rounds of breath to widen the stance, to sink a little bit deeper, to hug the belly button in tighter. A full breath in. Long breath out. Finding a twist to the right here. On your inhale, hinge forward. As you exhale, finding a connection with that left tricep to the outer right thigh. The top hand becomes a fist as you stack the elbows and focus on the gaze to the sky with your exhales and twisting. Now you have the option of dropping that back knee if you wish to focus more on the twist rather than the lengthening and strengthening of that left leg. You'll find a little bit more of a challenge to keep the body in line if the knee is down, since those hands are stacked. Otherwise, we're here for 3, 4, 2. Another full breath in. As you exhale, bring those hands down to frame the foot. From here, let the left knee come down if it's not already there. Shoelace part of the foot. Both hands come to the inside of that right foot and begin to heel toe the right foot to the edge of the mat. Readjust the hands so they're under the shoulders. Lizard pose. The heart lifts slightly. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Another full inhale and an exhale. Keep that right knee hugging towards the shoulder for one more round of breath before we find a different variation of our lizard pose, maybe adding in our quad stretch. One more inhale and exhale. Shift the gaze down, turn those right toes out slightly, and then let the right knee and the right hip open to the right for this variation of lizard. Now you should feel this stretch on the inner groin, as well as that hip compression, and that left hip flexor is still feeling a stretch. Now you can either stay right here or keep that left hand grounded and find a bend into the left knee. Now both hands can stay down and you can flex that foot and you should feel a pretty deep quad stretch. Staying right there and breathing, focusing not only on that quad stretch and the right hip compression is a variation, or reaching back with the right hand for a little bit of a twist as well. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. One more inhale and a release of that quad stretch, bringing that right foot back to center and the hands to frame the foot. The blocks are out in front. You're going to find those hands on blocks a little bit further than that right foot. Tuck the back toes under to lift the back knee. The block on the right, bring it out a little bit further to a diagonal as we find our half moon pose. Left hand to the left hip. When you're ready, shift forward to lengthen that right leg. And then from there, begin to stack the hips, turning the gaze to the left. The gaze could always stay down to the floor. The energy is driving out the left heel. Maybe the left arm comes to the sky. Try to keep the head in line with the spine. I always get lazy with my head in this pose. I don't know why, because I'm focusing on the leg. Maybe you stay here, or just like we kind of did at the beginning of practice, when we reach back in our side plank for the ankle, maybe sugar cane pose. Breathing for 3, 4, 2, full breath in, and release of that left leg if you took it, finding yourself back to a warrior 3 with support, pressing off those blocks, hands to prayer. Woo. Breathing in, coming back up to stand, step that left foot onto an imaginary stool, extend the left leg out beyond, inhale, bend, exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend, exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend, and left foot meets the right. Maybe roll out that right ankle if you need to. Extend your prayer as you breathe in. Bend the knees, swan dive, forward fold. From here, widening those feet, hips width apart. Peace fingers to the big toes if you wish. Bound flat back. Elbows splay out, upper body relaxes as you breathe out. Holding for 3, movement welcome. For 2, final breath in and out. Releasing that bind, guiding the toes back to touch. Halfway lift, breathe in, fold, breathe out. Micro bend in the knees, reach the arms to the sky, open the heart at the top. Exhale, hands to prayer. Finding the grounding into the corners of the left foot and step that right foot onto your stool. So from here, same thing. Try to drop the right hip because we kind of want to lift it higher than the left a lot. So you want to keep those hips square. Right knee in line with the right hip. Right ankle underneath the right knee. Full breath in. Lengthening of that right leg out. Inhale, bend. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bend. And bend into the standing leg as you hinge forward. Kick that right leg back for a temporary warrior 3. A full breath in. A deeper bend into that standing leg as you find yourself to your crescent lunge. Scooching the right knee back. Settling in to that crescent lunge. Feeling the right hip flexor stretch, which probably feels pretty good after doing that strengthening from the standing pose you were just in. A full inhale in as we begin to set up for our twist. On your next breath, in, hinge forward and finding your twist, prayer twist to the left, stacking fists, stacking elbows, maybe a drop of the right knee. If you don't drop the right knee, try to actively lift the right hip as you sink deeper into the left. Holding for 4. For 3. For 2. Final breath in. And releasing to center. Tent the fingertips. And then let the right knee come down to the mat if it's not already there. Set up for your lizard pose as you walk the left foot to the left, both palms to the inside of that foot. The left knee is hugging the shoulder, the heart is lifted, the hips are somewhat square, so you're still dragging, or not dragging, but isometrically moving the left heel down and back, right shin and knee down and forward, spine long. Breathing in and out. One more inhale and exhale. The variation on lizard pose, turn those left toes to the left, let the knee open for a slightly different variation of this hip opener, hip compression. Another full breath in and out. Keeping the spine long, maybe a bend into the right knee, a flex of the foot. Know that you can stay right here and still get the hip compression and that right quad stretch, or grounding to the right hand and reach back with the left to add the twist. Breathing. Full breath in and out. Releasing, coming back to center and walking that foot back to the center of your hands. Once you arrive, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, bring your hands to your blocks, and as we set up for our half moon pose, you're going to keep the left hand right where it is on the block, 6 to 12 inches to the diagonal. Bring the right hand to the right hip. When you're ready, shift forward, lengthen into that left leg. Begin to stack the hips and point the toes to the right, or out to the side rather, as maybe the gaze follows. One side will definitely be more challenging than the other. Maybe the right arm comes to the sky. The energy is driving out the right heel. Maybe you stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. Or eventually you can adjust. If you did the sugar cane on the other side, you can find a bend into that right knee, a hook, or a handle onto the right ankle, holding for 3, for 2, 1 more inhale, and as you exhale, an extension of the right leg, both hands come back to the blocks for your supported warrior 3. Hips are square, press off the blocks, bring your hands to prayer. On your next inhale, coming up to stand. As you exhale, extension of that right leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. And right foot meets the left. Rolling out that ankle. An extension of your prayer to the sky. Bend the knees, swan dive, forward fold. Feet widen, hips width. And either, 2 choices. You're bound flat back with your peace fingers, or maybe you take those peace fingers to the big toes, turn the toes outward, and find a bound Malasana squat pose. So if the heels lift as you bend the hips down for your squat, then you want to find blocks under your seat. The feet walk out a little so you can ground the heels. Chances are you won't be able to hold the bind as well. But whatever variation works for you for 2 more rounds of breath. Final breath in. And if you're in Malasana squat pose, maybe keeping the bind, lengthening the legs, bringing the toes back together, bound flat back, and releasing the bind, forward fold. Toes come closer to touch. Halfway lift, breathe in. Bend the knees, plant the palms, step or shoot. Back to bent elbows or ride the exhale to chaturanga. Slide forward, hips relax, shoulders relax, heart is forward. And child's pose, knees wide, toes touch, hips sink back. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. 1 more inhale and exhale. Shifting forward, bringing the knees back underneath the hips, but then let the left knee come more into the center of the body as you cross the right knee in front. Try to scooch those knees as close together as you can. Widen the feet, because we're going to find a seat in between those hands. So begin to walk the hands back. Maybe take your blocks with you. Also your towel if you needed it for cow face arms. Begin to sink back, finding your seat between the feet. Seat between the feet. I'm going to try to scooch forward because I think I'm off the screen back there. And try to stack the knees. So a couple of different choices. As I mentioned, you can bring a block under the seat, especially if you're feeling too much tension in the knees or in the outer hips. Other choices, you can extend the left leg, the lower leg long, but try to keep the knees stacked. From here, taking your towel into the left hand as you extend the arms to the sky. Bend into the left elbow, finding your cow face arms, just as we did at the beginning of our practice. Pulling down as you press the left shoulder forward, hugging the belly in, try to ground the right hip down as you're still keeping the upper body square to the front of your mat. Eyes might close, full breath in, long breath out, another full round of breath in, and a breath out. 1 more inhale, maybe keeping your cow face arms beginning to hinge, or not really hinge rather, shift and twist to the right. Now at this point, you can release your cow face arms. Bring the left arm to the outside of that right thigh and ground the right fingers behind you, tenting them or placing the palm to twist to the right. Holding for 3, for 2, one more breath in and out. From here, beginning to come back to center, we're going to find a different kind of a transition here. So you're going to want to adjust the right foot a little bit more forward so that so there's not as much torque into the knee. Begin to crawl yourself forward, planting those palms, grounding the shin, and then scooching the left knee back, finding your half pigeon pose. The right foot stays flexed. The palms then can reframe the right shin, maybe a block underneath the right glute if you're feeling the hips not so square. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Again, we're going to stay in this somewhat pigeon upright for a couple rounds of breath. Now, if you really are craving the full fold, then you can. But really, the only reason why we're here is not only to just keep digging into this hip opening, but maybe you find a bend into that left knee, grounding into the left hand, reaching back with the left hand for a little bit of that quad stretch. Variation of king pigeon. Another full breath in, long breath out. Releasing that stretch if you took it, planting the palms, tucking the back toes under, and slowly finding downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet, lengthening the spine, looking left and right, nodding the head, yes. Take a full breath in, long breath out. Optional vinyasa, breathing in, come forward. Exhale, lower down. Shine your heart, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Knees come down to the mat, in line with the hips. Right knee in the center, left knee crosses in front of the right. Widen those feet. Try to keep the thighs in close contact as you sink back onto your seat, grounding the sits bones between the ankles, stacking the knees. Spine is long, full breath in, long breath out. Towel or strap in the right hand as you extend the arm to the sky. Bend into that right elbow, find your bind. Pull down with that towel or fingers as you press the right shoulder forward, left hip relaxes down. Breathing in and breathing out. 2 more rounds of breath. Another full breath in and a breath out. Final inhale, think long spine. As you exhale, begin to shift to the left with the torso, beginning to introduce your twist. A full breath in, releasing the bind, bringing that right arm in front of the left thigh, left hand tense behind you. Maybe your gaze eventually over the left shoulder. Holding for 3, for 2, final breath in, and out. Coming back to center as you breathe in and adjusting that left foot a little bit more out so that the shin is, so there's not as much torque as we find our transition into half pigeon. Begin to walk yourself forward, planting those palms, extending that right leg out behind you, scooching it down, and keeping that left foot flexed. Shoelace part of the right foot, framing the left shin with tented fingers. A full breath in, and a long breath out. Another full inhale in your upright pigeon, and an exhale. Finding a bend into that right knee, a planting of the left hand, reaching back with the right, left left foot stays, no, just kidding, that's my right foot, stays flexed. As you use the leverage to maybe twist, but yet keep pressing that right hip low. 2 more rounds of breath. Another full breath in and out. Releasing that stretch, planting the palms in front, tucking the back toes under, lift the knee, and nice and slow, downward facing dog. A full breath in, and a long breath out. Bringing the knees down to the mat, taking them wide, toes together, hips sink back, child pose. Maybe the same active child pose as the beginning of practice. And when you're ready, walking your hands back to the knees, letting the knees come closer together and sinking the hips to whatever side feels good. Bringing those legs out in front as you scoot yourself forward, keeping the knees bent and blocks nearby, lowering down onto the spine. Once you arrive here, let's hug those knees in towards the chest. A slight tuck of the chin to keep the spine long and in contact with the mat. Press the small of the back more into the mat as you hug the knees in tighter. A full breath in, long breath out. An extension of those legs up towards the sky, toes towards your nose, fingertips behind the thighs to the hamstrings as you pull gently, maybe the calves of those toes towards you, yet keeping the legs long every couple of seconds. The small of the back still pressing into the mat. Maybe peace fingers to the toes if that's accessible. Holding for 3, for 2, 1 more breath in, and out. Listening closely, bring in the left fingers to the right big toe. Cactus out the right arm, let the left leg lower, keeping it long. And as you exhale, let the left leg relax to the floor, and then finding that right leg dropping towards the left, using your left forearm as a kickstand. Left upper arm, really. So it's finding like a hamstring outer right hip stretch, as well as a twist. Another breath in, and out. From here, the harder part is actually coming back to center and lifting that left leg back up to meet the right. Both hands come back to the toes, although we're on opposite toes right now. Legs long, spine long, full breath in. Keeping the right peace fingers on the left toe, cactus out the left arm, or keep it nice and long. Full breath in. The right leg lowers and hovers, toes towards you as you breathe out. Full inhale. Let the right leg relax down as you drop the left leg, using that arm as a kickstand so that you don't just flop over as you try to keep the left shoulder somewhat grounded, gaze to the left. Toes are flexed. Another full breath in and out. Coming back to center as you breathe in, bending into both knees, grounding those heels onto the mat, reaching for the heels with the backs or with the fingertips to the backs of the heels. Plant the palms along the body, begin to peel the low back, middle back, and upper back off the mat for your bridge pose. Now for this variation, I would take a block, medium or tallest level underneath the sacrum, and let the hips relax into the block so the glutes can relax. You can feel that hip flexor stretch, or the hip flexors relax rather. The chin's gonna naturally tuck, which will help, or help to compress the thyroid. Breathing for 5, for 4, for 2, One more inhale and exhale. If you're on the highest level, adjust the block to the medium level. Still let it be the support of the sacrum. Maybe extend one leg out at a time. Feeling a little bit more of a release into those hip flexors. But if it's too much on the low back, I sometimes slide another block underneath the low back for a little bit more support. If this feels yummy and you want to stay, you can. Otherwise, we'll transition to our final inversion and then end in our Shavasana with a hip opener. Let the block come to the lowest level if you wish to shift away from that variation. And then once you're on the lowest level, legs to the sky for your waterfall pose. You're here just breathing without any really focus on the breath. Just kind of being. Reminding yourself that whatever obstacles you might be facing are simply just frightful things that you notice when your mind and your focus is off of your goal. From here, if you wish to stay in a waterfall pose for your final rest, you can. Otherwise, finding the soles of the feet to the mat or removal of the block. Either keeping the soles where they are and letting the knees come together and the feet walk a little bit wider. Or maybe a Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees fall open. Maybe the hands stay palms up along the body. Maybe one hand comes to the belly or both. Or maybe one palm to the heart. Take a final breath in. Let the mouth open, exhale. Resting in whatever variation of Shavasana for the next 2 minutes of stillness. Into welcome breath deeper. And guiding of the knees back together, or the feet under the knees, depending on the variation you took. An extension of the legs out long. And an extension of the arms up and overhead. head behind you. Full body stretch, breathe in and breathe out. Bending into the knees, a hug of those knees in towards the chest. And begin to rock and roll yourself to a seat. Keeping the eyes closed, finding a comfortable variation of your seat when you arrive. Letting your hands come to heart center, prayer position. Reflecting on your intention. Reflecting on Ganesh, our removal of obstacles. And know that obstacles are simply those frightful things that you see when your focus has been removed from your goal. They're important to acknowledge, important to recognize, but it's even more important to not let them stop you. Allow your prayer to rise to your third eye, forehead center, and the light and the love within me honor and bow to the same within you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hope to see you all soon.